escaping the realm of darkness. The paranormal guys are on a quest to find the answers to the hard questions of where the normal meets the paranormal and the weird, and where the natural meets the unnatural. So grab your holy water, call your mama, and get ready for the Paranormal Guys podcast.
Hello, everybody. It is summertime. This is Neil with the Paranormal Guys podcast, welcoming you in, as usual, going to take you on a journey tonight. Now, I want to talk about something people have noticed, especially in the last episode. Steve hasn't been around. So I want to talk about this. It's actually a pretty serious situation. Steve right now is missing. He went out to Nimblewood, Georgia, to go with a family called the Jenkins family. And he told me about it because I was going on a vacation with my family to Tennessee at around, actually he left a week before I did, and I haven't heard from him. Nobody's heard from him. So we are waiting to hear from him. I don't know if he's out in the woods. He can't get a signal on his phone. We really don't know. So we're putting together a little something because we want to find out where he is. Right now we have Help Find Steve Fund. We're looking for Steve. We want to know if anybody who's out in Nimblewood, Georgia, if they see him, they hear him. Was he captured by a Bigfoot? Was there some kind of thing that happened in the woods? We don't know. I tried to get a hold of the Jenkins family out there, and I haven't heard. So I'm really, really concerned about this. So if you've seen Steve, please let us know. We would really, really like to know. But ladies and gentlemen, the show must go on. This is the Paranormal Guys. And until Steve shows back up, I went and found the best guy I could, Mr. Scotty Rorick. He is now the co-host of the Paranormal Guys podcast. Let's welcome in Scotty. Hello, Scotty.
Hey.
What's going on?
I don't know where he is. I mean, we've been looking for him, and
we've been looking for him, man.
We got everybody out. Everybody out is looking, and they got calls, and it's just crazy. Still can't find him.
Yeah.
If you know where he is, let us know.
Let us know. I mean, one of the calls was actually about a man who was dressed in a Bigfoot outfit who resembled Steve, but it was just some guy who lived in the neighborhood or something like in that area, and he was just walking around. So we're getting little hints and this and that about Steve in Nimblewood, Georgia, and hopefully we'll find Steve and he'll be able to come back on the show sometime soon. Or
first of all, where the heck is Nimblewood? So if you guys know where that is, let me know.
Right, exactly.
I don't know where that is. So he could be lost somewhere, but we just don't even know where Nimblewood is.
I don't even know where Nimblewood is. I mean, it sounds like something right out of the movie Deliverance, if you ask me.
No.
I don't know.
Like, where the hell is Nimblewood? Hey, if he's missing there, everybody's missing there.
Yeah. How many people are actually probably get lost in Nimblewood?
Three,
maybe three. I don't know. We don't know. It goes back to the old thing of, does the bear poo in the woods? We don't know.
Yeah. And would you hear him if you walked up on him?
Yeah, would you hear him? You never ever know. So let's get to know Scotty real quick. Scotty is a psychic medium. We met a couple of times at a couple of conventions. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Scotty.
Sure. I'm a psychic medium. I'm out of Madison, Wisconsin, so everybody kind of knows where that is. So that's good.
Yeah.
So at least I won't be lost here in Madison.
No.
But the good thing is I've seen spirits since I was a little kid, probably, and unfortunately I'm going to state my age. That was the late 60s, early 70s, so a long time ago. Yeah. But I've seen spirits ever since then. And back in those days, it wasn't very, very great to see them. People always thought that you were going to go to a home or go to a mental ward or something because, seeing spirits was not a cool thing. And the kids at school made fun of me. So I actually turned it off for a few years because I just couldn't deal with it. So we zoom ahead to the 80s, and all of a sudden, here comes Ghostbusters. And I'm in college at this time, and Ghostbusters comes out, and I see a full-body apparition. Ghostbusters then came out, and they showed a full-body apparition of the library ghost. And I ended up getting tons of dates because I told everybody I saw ghosts again.
Wow.
It was a good thing. That's why I said that's why I'm still in the paranormal, was for all the girls. Yeah.
For all the ladies out there,
Yeah.
Scotty Rourke is available.
But so you go. So yeah, it was that. I mean, I saw full body apparition in our theater, and I came out screaming. All the kids came out of the classrooms, and I told them what I saw. But
Really?
like I said, it was a lot different then.
Wow.
So then, as time went on, '93, I went on my first paranormal investigation. I went with Tim Hart and his group, the Mensa Project, I think, or Mesa Project, something like that. Out
I
of
think, yeah.
They're out of Springfield, aren't they? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Springfield, Illinois. Anyway, so we went to the Grand Opera House and we did my first investigation ever. '93, can you believe it?
1993. Man, in 1993, man, wow.
I know.
I was doing some different things, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
I'm starting ghost hunting then, and then it really started taking off for me. Is when the ghost shows came out in the late early 2000s.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I started my first podcast in 2007. That's way before the term podcast was out there. We called it internet radio back then.
So you were a pioneer, one of the pioneers of starting out podcasts.
Right, I was, and
Wow.
I did a show called Spooks Are Us,
Oh,
and that was my first show way back then. But we had, and then my second show was The Buzz, and we did that for many many years. And but during the Buzz time, early on, I think it was 2010, 9, 10, something like that. We had Derek Acora on the show. He's that psychic medium from London, and he was on the show Most Haunted.
okay.
And he came on with us on the radio show and the podcast then, and I told him, I said, hey, kind of told him a fib, but he now knows it. But I said every psychic medium that comes on the show has to give the host a reading. He said,
Wow.
sure, I'll do it. And so he
Sure.
gave me a reading that night. And he told me everything that I'm going to be doing up until today. He told me in clarity that night on that show, and we have it recorded. He said that that my spirit guide and I are stronger than him and Sam. And my spirit guide's name is Steve. And he told me movies, TVs, everything that I've done, lectures, gallery readings, everything that I've done, he told me I would be doing. And I kind of laughed that night because I didn't even really know what I was, because I always thought a medium was that guy that drove in the Wizard of Oz that had that hut that he drove there, and with the crystal ball and all that. I thought that's what a medium was.
Right,
but he told me all this stuff, and he says, no, you're just like me, you're going to be it. And he was right. I was wrong. He was great. I was bad, and he was beautiful. I was ugly. It was
wow.
It was all on. I mean, he was all in. And now he's passed, and I still talk with him. So Derek, but I still give you credit because you're the one that brought me out. So thank you so much for that. But here's the weird thing: in the paranormal, I still lost friends. I lost friends again. You lost friends when you were a kid because you told them you had ghosts. Now you tell them you can talk to ghosts, and you lose a lot of friends in the paranormal. But then I met the real ones like you, and everything's great because of it. So, but that's kind of how the history of me went. And then I started doing readings. I started doing everything Derek said, and been all in since there. I've done the Booth Brothers, Children of the Grave 2 movie. I did. I've done some independent movies with Jim O'Rear and Scott Tepperman. I've been in a couple of movies there. I was in Hell's Bells. Yeah, I think that was. And then what was the other one? The other one was really cool because it was with what you're talking about, Willis. Todd Bridges.
Todd Bridges, yeah.
Todd Bridges was in that. Robert Lasardo and Betsy Rue were in that one. But yeah, that was a great one. I played a strip club DJ. So that was,
really?
Yeah. I got to work in a strip club all day with all the naked girls. See, I told you, it's all about the ladies.
It's all about the ladies, man. That's awesome, dude. That is totally awesome. I wish I could have had a job like that when I was younger. Damn.
It was funny. The producer of the movie came up to me and said, man, you're a great DJ. So you work at the club that we're filming at? I said, nope. I said, I'm I'm Scott and Jim's friend. They go, no way. He was like, you're just perfect. I said,
Yeah.
I said, I'm a great actor then. Ta-da.
Ta-da. And ta-da, I now have you as my co-host.
You do.
Yeah, and we're going to run this journey together, and we're going to have some fun as we go along, and we're going to see what happens, man. You know, we're going to meet a lot of really cool people. I'm lining up people for me and Scotty to talk to. So once again, Scotty, I want to welcome you in as my
Thank
co-host
you
of our
very much.
Paranormal Guys podcast, buddy.
I'm so honored to be here. I'm so happy. And if you ever see Neil and I out, even at different shows, we're still going to be doing Paranormal Guys podcast. We're going to be promoting it both at our locations, no matter where we are. But you're more than happy to come up and see us sometime.
Right, yeah. So I was about to say Steve. I was so used to saying Steve, Scotty, but he's lost.
He's lost.
We eventually got to find him, though. We eventually got to find him. So
he might go where Bigfoot goes.
He might go exactly where Bigfoot goes. Now, Scotty, we do a segment like you and I talked about called Weird News. But tonight, since I have you on, we are going to do Truth or Bullshizzy. But I'm going to start off with the weird news first. Now, I'm going to give you the first thing news article. So welcome you into the show. I want you to do the first news article, but let us start our weird news.
The Paranormal Guys Weird News.
But
I like
not only that, but guess what time it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The one segment in our show where it's
Hey, boils and ghouls, it's that time again to play Truth or Bullshizzy.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give you 3 articles, and it's going to start off with Scotty first. Mid-range throughout the show, as we talk to our guest, AJ True Crime, who is going to be coming on. I'll get more into that later. We will tell you which one was the Bullshizzy story. You choose while you're listening to this fine broadcast given to you by the Paranormal Guys podcast, and you choose, and we will be revealed halfway throughout the interview today. So I'm going to give it to my buddy, my pal Scotty right here. Hold on, let me prop this up for you, Scotty. I got a cool picture for you. What you're going to talk about? You ready?
I am.
There we go.
All right. So, are you sick of men on Earth? A London actress, Ali Bila, says that she hopes to normalize interspecies dating.
Nice.
A YouTuber, Abby Bella, discussing her extraterrestrial encounter on her YouTube channel. To find a soulmate, she says, London actress, she looked to the sky. She claims that she fell for an alien after it swept her off her feet and into a UFO. Now, wow.
Ooh.
Bored by the pandemic and unimpressed by the offerings on Earth, Bela explained that she joked online about wanting an alien to abduct her. Before long, she began to having dreams of a white light. Then on May 31st, Bella said that she heard a voice in her dream. It commanded her to wait in the usual spot. Bella had never heard the voice before, and yet she says she knew what it meant. The next evening, I sat next to my open window, Bella said. She waited, and she began to fall asleep around 12:15 a.m. Wow, that's kind of early, isn't it?
Yeah.
I usually fall asleep way after that, but anyway.
About 1 or 2 for myself.
Yeah, me too. So a flying saucer swept into view. Before Bella knew it, she wasn't in her bedroom any longer.
Oh, dear Lord.
This was a bright green beam which transported me to the UFO, she said. Most might be alarmed by such turn of events, but not Bella. I'm one of those people who all my life had weird encounters, she explained on her YouTube channel. So why is it always on the YouTube channel? Can't it be elsewhere?
There's a lot of people, either it's a darn YouTube channel or TikTok.
Yeah. I'm glad it's not TikTok. It's YouTube. Maybe we have video, but she didn't have any video.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Bella soon found herself with very few humans who have ever gone in the belly of a flying saucer. Bella says she encountered 5 aliens in the UFO. They were tall and slender, but Bella couldn't make out their true forms. See, isn't that? I don't know. That's obvious. Why? It's just like a video when you're taking it of the flying saucers. Always have to go like this.
Yeah, I never understand. Like, take for instance the Bigfoot things. Why
Right.
is it sometimes it's so darn grainy? Why can't you run up on Bigfoot? Take a chance, man.
Right. If you're seeing him, run up to him and take a video. And everybody's got such bad cameras. What is that? I thought we all have the new
We all
Samsung
have these 4K
24s.
cameras.
Yeah, or Samsung, Galaxy 24s or 22s or
Yeah,
whatever you have. Uh, but she was talking to him telepathically though too, so that was kind of cool.
yeah.
Now, their slight green hue, big black eyes, and human features such as eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
Yeah, I didn't.
I
That
never
was,
heard that one before.
they they have also have like round faces, snake like eyes. She describes big eyes with irises.
What's iris? I don't even know what the hell an iris is.
This thing right here. See the one?
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Pardon my ignorance.
However, the star-crossed lovers faced few hurdles. For one, the alien told her that dating a human was taboo.
Oh, well,
Although she was willing to break the rules for another, Bella wasn't sure that she wanted to leave the planet Earth and never look back. He said, I had to consent to go with them, but I didn't want to say yes in case they took me forever. So
huh.
sadly, Bella left the UFO just after 20 minutes and back on Earth. She bemoaned and gaping differences between the aliens and Earthmen. Aliens offer extra quality of care, she said. Men on Earth just tell lies and have double standards. Bella noted that she might be squeamish about Earthling relationships, but she hasn't considered interspecies dating. Bella hopes to be a pioneer in this field and normalized interplanetary love.
Love. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, so she
Yeah,
gets it from an alien. So I thought that was
yeah. Well, could
is
that,
that
ladies
is
and
that
gentlemen,
bullshizzy
could
or
that be Bushizzy? Well, that takes me to my story. That could be either truth or Bushizzy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's up to you, the listener. All right, Scotty, I have an alien story too, but it's
all
also an
right?
alien and Bigfoot story. Hold on.
See now, this might be where Steve is.
Yeah, see, man, I'm telling you. So, extraterrestrial shenanigans. Alien captures Bigfoot in North Carolina. Now, I was on the, just so you know, I was on the border of North Carolina and Gatlinburg, Tennessee, man.
Right.
And a lot of people were telling me that on that border there, they actually see a lot of Bigfoot, big Bigfoots, however you want to call
But
them.
what do you call those hillbillies?
And the hillbillies too. I mean, they're
I
around.
would think there was more hillbillies than Bigfoots, but
Yeah, there might be, but you never know. Maybe they adopted a Bigfoot. You never know. Someone's got to reach up high to grab some fruit out of a tree, right?
right, exactly.
So let me get to my story. In an unprecedented event that has left both cryptozoologists and ufologists scratching their heads, an alien reportedly captured Bigfoot in the remote forests of North Carolina. The incident, which sounds like a plot of a low-budget sci-fi movie, has locals and internet users buzzing with theories and laughter. Witnesses in a small town of Woodsboro claim they saw strange lights hovering over the forest late Friday night. I thought it was just another one of those UFO sightings, said Earl Jenkins. What? Wait a minute. Now, that was the name of the guy who name is Jenkins. Oh my God. And dude, oh my
But
God.
see now it was Mr. Jenkins was the one in Scooby Doo too.
Was he really?
Yeah.
All right, I'm moving on. A local a local fisherman, but then I saw it. A massive creature being beamed up into the spaceship. According to Earl and a few other bewildered onlookers, the creature matched the description of Bigfoot. Towering, hairy, and slightly annoyed at being abducted. It looked like he was shaking his fist and growling, noted Mary Lou, the town's unofficial UFO expert. I always knew the aliens were interested in our wildlife, but this is totally a different level. I agree. Social media exploded with memes and jokes, with some other users suggesting that aliens might be taking Bigfoot on an intergalactic safari. Maybe they're trying to understand Earth's legends, tweeted at Alien Hunter 123. Or maybe Bigfoot just needed a vacation. What?
But maybe he needed a ride back to his dimension.
They do say that Bigfoot is probably an interdimensional creature. Yes.
Right. So then why would the alien have to get them here? Why can't they get them in their dimension?
Maybe he escaped. Maybe we don't know that there's a more diabolical plan that's going on here. You know, maybe he escaped a dimension and, you know, he was, I don't know, man. We don't live with aliens. Oh, no, that lady does. She's doing interspecies things going on. She's going to get the secrets, that lady.
Yeah, she's going to have the sexual relations.
You know, sexual relations. Yes. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's number 2 of the Bushizzy. Is it Bushizzy? And now I have one last article, my friend Scotty. Now, this one here comes from the Alcatraz. We all know about Alcatraz. We've seen the Clint Eastwood movie, Escape from Alcatraz, right? So this interesting thing, is this truth or Bushizzy? The last one.
Now, here, about Alcatraz, you know they gave everybody warm showers?
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they gave them warm showers because then when they got in the water, it would be way too cold for them, so they wouldn't escape. Not because they were happy and thought it would be nice, but nope, they were going to condition them up to be too warm to go into that cold water.
That makes sense, man. Wow. All right. A member of a team tasked with creating a 3D map of Alcatraz Island told his colleagues they had an unsettling ghostly experience during their stay at the site's infamous prison. The eerie incident reportedly occurred as researchers were documenting the location as part of a project aimed at studying the erosion of the island. As part of the endeavor, the group spent 3 weeks on Alcatraz Island. At night, actually slept in the prison. The unorthodox campout took a spooky turn that was brought about by one team member being a particularly loud snorer. Yeah, well, it happens. At the behest of his colleagues, group leader Pete Kesley recalled the man graciously agreed to sleep alone in a separate room where inmate mugshots were taken long ago. However, his unusual accommodations only lasted one terrifying night.
What if he had sleep apnea and they were making fun of him?
Yeah, you know what? You can't bring your machine with you.
Right.
Yeah. According to Kelsey, following morning, he noticed that the man was sleeping outside of the room, and when he later asked him why, the snorer shared a truly fantastic tale. The man recounted being roused from his sleep in the middle of the night by the sounds of multiple people seemingly moving furniture in the room above his. Chillingly, the unnerved witness said that he also heard a piano playing. The combination of creepy, unexplained sounds understandably unnerved the man, who promptly fled the room and subsequently refused to sleep in there again. Wow. Now, let me tell you something about jails and prisons. Now, I've worked in the jail system for 30 years, right? There is ton of residual things that go on inside those jails and prisons and institutions, ladies and gentlemen. So could that give me to say that this is more of the true story, ladies and gentlemen? It's for you to decide. You tell us at the end. But next, we are going to have Mr. AJ True Crime on. We are going to talk to him about the paranormal. He has he has a museum with haunted dolls.
Why does everything have to be dolls?
It's a big thing nowadays.
I'm going to ask him that. I want to know.
You want to know? We want to know.
We want to know. Let's ask him.
Yeah, I mean, it's big. I mean, they got all those movies, Annabelle, all those movies nowadays. Everything's, it is what it is. So, Scotty, I want to once again welcome you in as half of the Paranormal Guys podcast.
And there I am, right there. See,
right there, right above your left shoulder, right over there. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready for the new Paranormal Guys podcast. And as always, boo.
If you're on the hunt for some captivating podcasts about the supernatural, paranormal, aliens, or anything that'll send shivers down your spine, the Paranormal Guys podcast has you covered. Find them on various streaming platforms, and don't forget to check out them on YouTube channel at Graveside Paranormal. Happy listening, and boo.
And now, back to the Paranormal Guys podcast.
All right, Scotty, we're back. Our first episode together. We are back.
Woo!
Woo! Just like a Ric Flair. Woo!
Exactly. Come off the top rope.
That's right, man. Right from the top. Got you there, brother. All right, what we have on here today is we have
You
Mr.
went bye
T.
bye.
What's that, brother?
You went bye bye. Your video went.
Well, did it now? Wow.
Yeah, it did.
All
I
right,
was
it's
I was a
my
little
energy.
afraid. I was a
It's-
little afraid. I was scared.
That's my energy, brother.
I was hoping that you didn't go the way of Steve.
No. And,
No.
once again, man, you had to bring me back to that. We're looking for Steve. He got lost in Nimblewood, Georgia.
I
Looking
know.
for Bigfoot, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
you were gone too. All of a sudden, you were gone. I was like, no, not two.
No, not you, too. That was the alien abduction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we got on here, Scotty. We have Mr. AJ True Crime. I love the name, number one, AJ True Crime. It sounds like like Magnum PI or something like that. I expect him to roll up in some red car and just pop out like some cool dude, and there should be some background. I mean, hey, so let's welcome in
He
AJ.
could be the A team.
What's that?
He could be Mr. T.
He could be Mr. T, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Pity the fool.
Pity the fool. All right, AJ True Crime from Chicago, Illinois. Welcome, brother.
What's up, guys?
How are you today?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm all right. So, AJ, how you and I actually met is before we met face to face, I noticed always AJ True Crime on my Facebook thing, whereas like he always liked the videos I put out and and the little pictures of the nonsense that I put out, just to keep people entertained on the Graveside Paranormal.
You don't have to brown nose Neil, AJ.
I'll try not to, right?
Hey, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm a simple man, simple things. That's what a lot of people say, very simple-minded. So I met AJ actually on there. I kept noticing AJ, and then we were at Days of the Dead.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this year.
Yeah,
and I was there with who was I there with? Pete Christ.
Yeah.
I was there with Pete Christ from Indiana, Northwest Indiana.
Northwest Indiana Paranormal.
Yeah.
Cool nice guy.
Dude.
Very cool dude. Yeah.
Very cool dude. Very cool dude. Yeah. And I was at the table and you came up to me and you told me your name. I said, wait a minute, I know that name. I go, and I mean, it's just totally out there, AJ True Crime, So that's how we met. And we started talking, and then we went to Jack's thing together. And AJ, Scotty, he has this little museum that he has of all these haunted dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked about this in the news segment, why always dolls? Why can't it be like toy trucks or toy, anything else?
Right. Why can't it be Army Men?
Okay, so
why does it have to be dolls?
Okay, so it doesn't have to be dolls, but that's just something that I originally started off with.
Right.
Because I tell people like, don't, some people are like, oh, if it's not a doll, it can't be haunted. I tell people like, don't even focus on the dolls part because, you could literally I've seen some of the craziest things, and I have some crazy things that are haunted. I've seen, this is going to sound silly, but I can assure you it's real. I've seen.
Hold on, AJ. Hold on. Before you even say it, this is the Paranormal Guys. Everything silly is here.
Right. I've seen necklaces that had attachments to it. I've seen coins. But I think just like with, everything with Hollywood, everybody's so fascinated with dolls.
Yes.
And just that's kind of all you see now. But and I will admit, they kind of like are the easiest things to get. Because when people have dolls, the first thing dolls that have attachments, it's usually the first thing they want to get rid of. So they're like, AJ, do you want this? And then the first thing I ask is, is it haunted? Does it have a spirit attached to it? And they're like, well, I can't answer that, but somebody told me this doll was haunted. And all these things started happening in my house. So, anytime you hear haunted doll, that's the first thing that people think about is it's scary,
So you're definitely a collector and a hunter for haunted dolls and objects. More than just dolls, objects, yes?
Yeah, I do have lots of objects, but like I said, it's way easier to get dolls.
I'm sure. All right, so just so you know, Scotty, now you and I were at the Paracon at Nick Sarlo's Spirits in the Spring. Me and Scotty were both there. Our tables were right next to each other. That's how I was able to get him on as my co-host of the Paranormal Guys podcast. We talked for a while. And I have a haunted doll. You saw my haunted doll. I explained this story to you. Now, could it be that maybe a topa effect that's happening where people talk about things and it gives it energy? Or am I planting seeds in people's heads because they want to hear a good story? I mean, what's your take on that? Are we fooling people, or
No,
is
no.
it something that's there?
Well, what I tell people is this, because some people start, it's like anytime you talk to people that are non-believers, they're kind of like all over the place. Well, hey, I think it's all in your head, or maybe you're making it happen. Like, I hear that a lot. So when non-believers say that's not haunted, but all of us focusing our energy is making it happen, making the REM pods go off, making the spirit boxes say something. I'm like, so what you're kind of saying is, now you're saying spirits aren't real, but now telepathic communication is real, right? Where we're all telling ourselves, inadvertently, that we're all making this happen. So what is it? There is no paranormal, there's no spirits, or now we all have this psychic ability to make things happen. Then when you tell them, they're like, oh, well, I'm not saying that, but So I think when you come across people that are non-believers, they really can't, they can't answer it. They're quick to debunk, but they're not quick to answer it, right?
No, and they don't have the answer every single time. And
Right.
the reason
I
why
don't have it any times.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
AJ, for you.
Yeah, and the reason why I ask this question is because I have to come from the standpoint of some of these people that we meet.
Right.
Because when I tell people this
100%.
story about my doll, and I explain the whole story, and ladies, I can't get into it. Come on my tours, and I'll be more than happy to tell you. It's a long freaking story. I can't, and the thing is, I can't prove or disprove that my object is haunted. I really can't.
Right.
But I have to say sometimes is because people ask, is Neil planting a seed in my head? I don't know. I'm telling you what, from my standpoint of the experience that I've had, and it's up to you, especially when you, AJ, or when Scotty, you're telling a story. It's up for that individual to go ahead and believe or not believe. And it's up to them. When they walk away, they can either say it's truth or bullshizzy, as we will, Scotty.
Right. But see, now as a psychic medium, I don't go around trying to prove or disprove to anybody. I'm just going to tell you what's happening in that situation.
Right.
And in most cases, there's things happening that you can't debunk, because most people want to debunk because they don't want to truly believe that something's happening. So they'll try to debunk, but they won't do it because they don't come up with real things. Oh, you're just making it up. Well, anyone can say that. I can say that in the stuff you're giving me. So it is tough to deal with that, to get that, because I have a really good friend, John Zaffis. He collects all the haunted stuff too, because he was on that TV show, Haunted Collector. And so he's very similar to you, AJ. And I was just teasing you about the dolls, but it just seems that more people lately have been dealing with the dolls because of Annabelle the movie, and that more than. But I believe anything can be, and like Neil, though, I have to agree too. I think the biggest thing is the fact that things can come into it. There's been many cases when people are all there willing something, doing something, that something becomes there that's not haunted, but we've willed it there so it looks like it,
Oh,
so
yeah, that's
a combination of all of it.
Yeah, that's the topo effect.
Right.
We talk, and I explain that on the tours and this and that I do. I explain to them about topo effects, and stuff like that. Like AJ sent me this video that I'm so sorry that I couldn't put up, AJ, of one of your dolls that had those EMF balls. That sounds odd, but and you ask a question, can it light up the left one or the right one? That's the only way I can say it, Scotty. It's the only way I can say it.
It's true.
So, and sure enough, it was responding to what you do. And when I try to explain to people, you can go ahead and tell a story that this object's haunted, and people can believe or not believe. But the minute that you start gathering evidence through audio, it's hard to dispute.
Right.
It's all about the evidence afterwards. Everybody can go into a haunted place or meet a haunted object or this and that. It's about the evidence that you gather that you're able to then find out what is truly going on. And still, you won't have all the answers, but at least you're gathering evidence. That's the important thing.
And I have to say too, I'm a big believer. Okay, well, in regards to the dolls, or let's just say any spirited item, there's a lot of people that collect them like real. Okay, so I shouldn't say all, but some spiritual people say you shouldn't make or ask your dolls to do anything. Or I keep saying haunted dolls. Now I'm fixated on it, but
Okay.
You shouldn't ask your haunted items or spirited vessels to do anything. But as a paranormal investigator myself, I feel like no, that's when I do ask them to do something. And I feel like with all of the items I have, I do what I call bonding rituals, where I state my intentions and I let them know that only positive energies are allowed in my home. Nobody can cause harm, and I do that with all my items. And there's people that do the same, but they say you shouldn't ask for activity. But then, how do you know what they can do? How do you know what's really going on in your home is them? So I always record a lot of my investigations with the dolls, and most of them I do one-on-one. And I just say, hey, this, and I give them offerings, and some of them come with, I get my items from trusted sources. So some of them will say, hey, this one really likes glasses of water as gifts or offerings. Some like candy. So I do give them offerings. And I feel that's why I have a good success rate with, getting activity. Because in one case I mentioned to you at the convention, I was telling one of my dolls, I was like, hey, I heard you really like these ghost balls. You like to, light it up. Can you do one for me, please? And so when I do investigations, I'm really strict about when things happen. If I'm using a spirit box, it has to be answered in a timely manner. So in regards to the ghost balls, I asked them, can you light this up? And I kid you not, 3-4 seconds later, it lights up. And then I'll ask again, can you light one more up? Another one would light up. Now, for the people that don't believe, they could be like, well, your ghost balls are broken. Okay, well, let's put it to the test. Can you light one more, please? And then a third one got lit up. And then I think I got that doll to do about 5 or 6 before I stopped pushing it. I was like, okay, I want to thank you very much for, showing me this activity. And that's basically, how it goes.
Right. Now, let me ask you this then. From the places I've gone to and this and that, and we talk about hauntings, okay? We're going to mix in the doll idea here.
Sure. Yep.
I have this theory that sometimes people bring along in life the spirits that surround them.
They do.
So what happens if, and understand, I'm not trying to knock anybody. This isn't it. This is discussion.
Sure.
What happens if you have spirits around you that are going to do these things for you to make it look like the dolls are, no matter what, you're getting some paranormal activity possibly.
Right.
But let's say the spirits that surround us in life want to
Sure.
play along.
Mm-hmm.
See,
What do you think of that?
I think it's very possible, but I also like to say, like, that's why we have to investigate it, because so do I believe that? Yes, 100%. It could. I don't want to say it is, but I said it could be that spirit that's with us. But I feel like when you're doing investigations, you kind of have to push it. You got to see how much information they'll give you, because let's just pretend that's the case with this one doll, right? I don't see them really giving me fake names and fake likings. You know what I mean? Just because it's them. That would be one hell of a trick,
Sure.
So
it's just a theory that I have that when me and Steve would go to haunted places, we started coming up with a theory is what happens is a spirit that's attached to us, especially when we use the Anahata box, that we believe that spirits were getting attached to it.
but
What
here's
if these
here's
things
the
are
thing that
following
I bring in. As
What's
a
that?
psychic medium, I know the difference between spirits that are with me and without. And
Right.
like AJ was talking about, we ask for our highest and best good when we do investigations. So my spirit team will not mess with an investigation, because even though they're with me all the time, they won't mess with it because they know I'm trying to find the story or trying to find what I'm trying to investigate. I just did a lecture this last weekend at the old Baraboo Inn on investigating for the story. And that's what it's most important, is getting the information that you're really there. What is that spirit really trying to tell you? And if the other spirits are around, it's about trying to find that information. And that, AJ, that's what I agree with you. I don't think that they do that. I don't think my spirit guys will jump in and mess something up when I'm trying to find the message of this person in this house, or this person in this grave site, or whatever. I don't think that they do that. And I think they have more respect for us as humans, and people they trust to work with them to do that. So yeah, I agree with you more, AJ, that I don't think they jump in and mess it up for us.
Yeah. And I'll give you guys a good example with that too. At the convention, okay, so let me backtrack one second. So I was having issues for a while, like communicating with my spirit guides. So I was like, I need some sign, like I want to communicate, right? Now, of course, this is just my opinion. I believed I heard my spirit guide when I was messing around with electronics. So, I hate to say it this way, but this is kind of just the best way to say it.
Say it.
It sounded like the most beautiful white woman like voice that I've ever heard in my life. Okay, till this day, I had never heard that voice before. But it just it was like music to my ears. So, and I truly believe that was my spirit guide.
It was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I got so many questions about that, but
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, at the convention, and I have no idea who it is, because I've heard things that they say spirit guides are usually someone that's a part of your family or someone that's there.
Okay, stop. We all have one spirit guide that came to us before, when we were on the other side. My spirit guide, my main spirit guide, his name is Steve. And Steve is my main guide. Him and I were not known here on Earth. Steve only knows me from the other side. He was my husband in a previous life. So we have one guide that is our main spirit guide that we don't know. Then we get other guides that come to us throughout our lives that could be the people you know from life, could be other people that join your team or jump in to teach you something. But you have one guy that you don't know, and unfortunately, or fortunately for you, that was the woman's voice you heard, is your one guide that you don't know.
That's interesting. Just
so you know, AJ, and I mean, Scotty's been doing this. He's one of the main reasons why I picked Scotty. I had to reach out and say, Scotty, Scotty knows what he's talking about, and I just listened to him, and I really enjoy the conversation that we've so far had. And I listened to him at an event, and I said, man, this guy's making damn good sense.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting. Sometimes it's just nice to just listen to him.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And, but so I felt like that was my spirit guide, right? So now let's go back to the convention. So towards the end of the convention, this lady walked in, and she, it was maybe like 20 minutes before everything was shutting down. And she said, she told me she was a psychic, and, that day there was a lot of psychics, and everybody has different opinions and, different, ways of doing things. So I'm open arms with everybody, right? Everybody's my friend until you're not. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. She's like, I don't know if you know this, because she, obviously we never met each other, but she was like, there's a woman here. And this kind of goes back to what you guys were talking about. Like, is it our spirits attached to us making these things happen? But she's like, there's a woman here. And I feel like she's with them, kind of holding them back. And I was like, well, the activity was like, some people were getting activity from the dolls and some people weren't. So she's like, they were holding the dolls back, like the spirits. And that's why there's, iffy on the activity day. I was like, well, could you, and I was just kind of being not smug, but just like messing around. I was like, well, I wonder why some of the activity was a little low today. But, we did get some activity. So I was like, wait a minute, did you say a woman? And she was like, yeah, there's a there's a woman here kind of like, holding them back, stopping them from doing things. And I was like, can you tell me more about this woman? Is she here for me or is she here for them? Because, like you just said, there is maybe it's spirits that we carry that, are doing these things, but they can also, and this is my opinion as well, they can also kind of, hold back the activity, which,
So here's the thing. You're close on all of it. So what happens is, like, Steve is my main guide. So Steve protects me and channels all the activity that I'm with. He will guide it. And that's what she was doing that day. Instead of letting everybody come through and it'd be helter skelter all day long and you're getting all this stuff. Right. She predicts, she follows all the energies and say, nope, not you now yet. Now it's your turn. Now it's nope, don't come in. So that's what they do. They protect us from all this extra activity. So right there, you prove the fact that was your spirit guide, and she was there guiding it and protecting you in there. I want to go back just a little bit earlier. Sure. I know we're going to get far away, and I don't want to go farther away. You talked about some people tell you not to talk to objects and not to talk to spirits and not bring that on. Why? What is their purpose? What do they say to you? Because that makes no effing sense to me.
Right. So, I record a lot of my evidence, and, I do post it online because I feel like as an investigator, it's my obligation to share that evidence, to share that it does exist. And some people are saying like, and these are other investigators that collect dolls. And again, everybody has a difference of opinion. They're just like, you shouldn't be asking of that. You should be respecting the spirit. And I'm like, I respect all the spirits that, that are attached to the dolls or to the items. But I also think if they're attaching it and they're actually showing activity, we need to see that. I need to know what they could do. And, personally, I just want to know why. Like, why did you attach yourself to this? Like, some people are like, oh, then there's always the people that you're doing it for social media. No, because I was doing this before there was the internet,
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, everybody who's listening, AJ has a very, very popular TikTok show. I want to be as good as him one day. One day I'll grow up and go as good as him. Yeah. So let's get into, we're still talking about, did you have something to say, Scotty?
Oh yeah, I want to go back into one more thing.
Okay.
So we're talking with AJ about items that are haunted. Yeah. So, and you're not supposed to talk to them. How about all these paranormal investigators that go into a site? Because a lot of times spirits are attached to the building, not to the object. Right. So you're still asking them. You go in there and ask every single one of them. So is anyone here? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody does it. But when you try to specifically talk to somebody or something that has activity to it, then that's wrong. That doesn't make any sense. If you're investigating, you have to find the story. You have to find why they did it, who the spirit is, why are they coming through this way, why do they do it with this doll, but does it have something important to them, and then why and what do they want to be said now? I mean, so there's this whole thing, but most people just want to go out, and that's why I'm glad that you're here, AJ, because you sound like you're a great investigator, because you're trying to find the true story on this. You're not just trying to find, you're not trying to run into a place and go, oh, I heard a noise, I'm scared.
Right.
Yeah. That's, unfortunately, I think everybody wants to be a paranormal investigator these days. I'm sure you guys see it all the time, but no one actually puts in the work, in my opinion. Like they, it's like, I tell people this when they say, AJ, how can I do what you do? I'm like, well, first of all, are you scared to do this? Are you scared to go to, abandoned, rundown buildings or, whatever the site might be? And they're like, well, sure. I'm like, then you're probably not ready to do this because you can't get scared. There's spirits out there, or however you want to call them, that make shit move. And pardon my language. That makes stuff move. And it could be a little ghost ball. It could be something thrown off a table. It could be a chair sliding, whatever it may be. But if you are scared, you are nervous, you should probably work with someone more experienced. Better handle that situation because you shouldn't be doing it on your own, Right.
I totally agree. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I was pushed down in the theater. scraped my whole hand, cut my head,
No.
and
Yeah, he was with Larry Eisler, and they showed me the photos, and I said, "Man, something basically beat his ass."
it did.
You know,
So to your point, if you're afraid, you don't do this, because
Right.
at the moment that I got pushed down and I'm bleeding, I got up and go, "We're still going over there," and we kept going at it. And I mean,
Right.
like, you could try to stop me, but you're not going to.
Sure.
And in a way, we kept going. But
Yeah.
that's exactly. I mean, your point was so spot on, because that's what it is. I mean, you can't do this if you're afraid. You got
well,
to.
you know what? The only thing I gotta say is, well, you guys are talking about being afraid. Okay,
Yep.
now this is my opinion. You have to have fear. The reason why you have to have fear, and it's because I've been in certain situations other than the paranormal. It's so you're aware of your situation.
See, that's a difference. Aware compared
Right.
to fear.
Yeah, they
don't have
kind of
to be
blend.
afraid.
They kind of blend.
No, you don't have to be afraid, because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid
Yeah.
of spirits. There's not one that's going to throw a saw blade that goes.
Oh, I'm not talking like that. I'm not talking like
You know,
that.
so I'm not afraid. So I
Yeah.
mean, because the dead is not going to hurt me that bad, other than some scrapes and bruises. You know,
Right.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I totally.
and I'm
get
more afraid. I'm more afraid of the living, because they're going to mess me up, than the
Right.
dead. So I can understand being aware. Being aware is very important.
it.
I mean, I think it's okay to be. I think this is how I really feel about it. I think it's okay to be a little afraid, but I also think, like, and there, I get everybody's different, and if you're going to be afraid,
Everybody's different.
you should
Yeah.
you should definitely be working with a team or someone that's really experienced that can walk you through the situation.
Yeah.
With if you're afraid, because if I feel like back in the day, I mean, this is before the internet. I was going ghost hunting by myself at like 13, 14, and I was meeting other investigators out there on the streets, because that's how it started. That like we would go, I would hear these crazy stories. I would take the bus or like my bike, and I was riding out there, and I would just be like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm ghost hunting." "What are you doing here?" They're like, "We're doing the same." And
Yeah.
and there's people out there that are doing it by themselves, and
So I've interviewed a couple of people like that. So let's go into what I want to talk about. We're still staying on dolls for a second, Scotty and AJ.
yeah, go ahead.
Let's talk about obsession. Okay.
Sure.
Obsession, for ladies and gentlemen who don't know it, it's easily defined word.
Right.
You become obsessed with an object or a person or event or whatever you want to go to. Take, for instance, like Bachelor's Grove Woods, AJ. Many people are obsessed with going to those woods. There is something that is there that is calling upon you, that makes people go to those woods. So with these dolls that you have, do you feel that sometimes you get a little obsessed with? Because now understand, I'm not knocking you. What I'm going to say is just asking a question to understand something.
No, sure.
You're upset. I'm not saying you're obsessed, but you have these dolls inside your home. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel that sometimes having inside your house that you all of a sudden are drawn to want to talk to them more or communicate with them more because they're accessible?
No, no, but
Good answer.
yeah, no, but because I feel like I set boundaries. I said, because like I invite them, technically when you bring them into your home, you're inviting them. And at least that's my interpretation of it. Whether you ask them or not, if they're in your home, they're in your home. Because, if we're going to speak on that, you can't bring the doll in without the spirit, so you're inviting them whether you like it or not. Right.
Right.
So I just, when I bring them in my home, I don't bring all of them. I do keep some offsite. I keep them at another location, but there's a good amount in my home. Right. And I just set boundaries. I say, hey, this is the deal. I will be communicating with each and every one of you, or if it's just, usually I do it one by one, but I'll say, I would like to do sessions with you, try to communicate, ask you to show me, anything that you could do. It could take a couple of minutes. It could take a couple of hours. And, I just let them know, like, this is what's acceptable in my house. There's children that live in my home. I have two kids, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. So I say, Nobody is allowed to do anything negative. There's no harm invited or allowed in my house. And, to be honest, majority of the ones I do keep in my home are positive. There is a few that are clearly angry or upset. But, I got to be honest, too, I feel like they all kind of respect each other being in the home. So have I noticed anybody crossing any lines? Not at all.
See,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
that's
ahead,
amazing. No, that's amazing because boundaries is what has to be set.
Right.
And even as a psychic, and you invite, you're doing your readings or getting stuff from people, you have to set your boundaries. Like at my house here at 9 o'clock on me TV is Hogan's Heroes, and any spirit that's in my house knows at 9 o'clock I turn off. When Hogan's Heroes music plays, I'm done for the night.
Right.
So I don't talk to any spirits after 9. And then
just so you know, last night I was talking to Scotty. I had talked to him on the phone, right? And because we had to test out, make sure everything's right. And I'm not lying to you, dude. He's not lying whatsoever. Hogan's Heroes was playing on in the background. I go, "What are you watching? Hogan's Heroes?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "You're watching Me TV, aren't you?" He goes, "Yeah." So see, he ain't lying
9
about it.
o'clock, 9 o'clock. But even when we were talking, 9 o'clock still talked to all the spirits that are around and said, "Okay, guys, we're done for the night. Thank you very much. You can come back when I get up and go to work in the morning, but we're done talking." I mean, that's great that you set that boundary because you have to.
Yeah. And one of the reasons
You have to set it for your kids. You have to set it for your home. You have to set it for your family. I mean, that's the same thing. I have Ouija boards in the house. I produce my own Ouija boards.
Oh, no kidding.
But I don't have a commitment from demons to sit around and wait for me to produce people, so then I can put them in there. So then they can go home to your house and go, blah.
Yeah.
They're just a divination tool, but it's the same thing talking to your spirits that you have in your house. It's just us talking to spirits.
right.
They might be attached to an item or they might be with an item. That's fine, but we still have to set the boundaries exactly. No matter what you do with spirit, you have to set the boundaries.
Sure.
Because
And
your
the
house,
reason-
your house is your home, your castle, and they have to respect it.
Right.
100%.
And the reason why I'm bringing up this subject about obsession is, number one, great answer. Okay, AJ. We want the viewers to listen to this because we're going to get people who are going to listen to this, and you want to set them down the good path on this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why. One of the reasons why I bring up this subject is from a person like yourself who collects it. How do you stay away from the obsession? So that's why I brought forth the question to you so that people understand. There is an obsession that does happen, but that's only when you let your defenses down.
Right.
As long as you have a plan of how you go about it, like the things that are inside my house, like the supposed haunted doll that I have, it's in my garage. I don't go out of my way and go bother it. The Anahata box, people go like this to me. They say, "Oh, that box you have, you got to play with that every day." Do you know the only time I ever use it is on an investigation or if I take it out to a convention, then that's it. I don't get obsessed with these things.
Yeah.
But I wanted to just say that was a very, very good answer that you gave.
By the way, Neil, do you turn that off? Do you set your protection with the box when it's not in use? Do you say,
No.
Thank you for coming through. Now all spirits, please stay away. This is
I go like this, but understand my thinking on, and we'll ask AJ also, is at the end of the day, when you're all said and done, what do you do? My thing is faith. Now, people can go ahead and use all the incense and all that, and I'm not knocking it.
Right.
But what it is, at the end of the day, it's about the faith and the belief that you have in yourself. And I'm not saying your God, because everybody has different gods.
Right.
But that strong, positive faith in yourself at the end of the day that projects out of you is what's going to keep it positive from things coming in and out.
Or your strong faith in Hogan's Heroes.
Or Hogan's Heroes at 9:00.
You know what? I tell people that also because again, this is just a lot of what I mentioned is like from personal experience, and just kind of like some of the knowledge that's out there, right? I'll give an example, like you just mentioned with all the products that are out there, sage and everything. I tell people this: if you're not a firm believer in your faith or whatever it is that you believe, then you could have all the protections in the world and it won't help you.
Right.
And that's my honest to God opinion about it, because I see all these people, they're like, "Oh, what about Santo Paulo or, Dragon's Blood, which I love. And I said, you guys could use all that, but if you guys aren't practicing what what your belief is, then, if something were to happen, because I get that all the time where people are like, AJ, I'm ready for a haunted doll. Well, what if you get the right one that starts, and I got to be honest, I've seen some destroy people's lives and, or basically drove them nuts. And I'm like, you weren't ready for it. And, you're now saging and you're doing all these things, but you're not really in the faith of whatever it is that you believe in. So now they have to get somebody else to come in, fix the job, right? And it's problematic. I feel like once it starts getting that extreme, it's very difficult to kind of get it to stop. Sure. Unless that's when people really start getting in faith. And again, I'm not knocking it either, but I just think you opened a door that is now going to be difficult to shut.
Yeah, it's exactly a door. You're absolutely right, and you're absolutely right on that. So let's go on into the next thing. So AJ, we're going to show some pictures of some. Sky, do you have anything else to say on the subject?
Yeah, let's go. I'm still.
I feel like we could talk about this all day. I love it.
It is. It's one of those things where you could probably just sit down, smoke some dope, and just. I
know. So here's the thing that I agree with you, AJ. It's about your faith in whatever it is, and when I talk faith, I'm very different than most religions. I'm a spiritualist, so I believe in spirit, so very different than everybody else, so right. My faith is very different. So, and as everyone is watching this podcast is going to get to know me better and will know, but it's about setting that intent. And that's what I always say. It's the intent of what you're doing. Because when I go to an investigation, I always set up the things. I always take a stone when I walk onto a property, and I say to the spirits there, whenever I'm holding this stone, you can talk to me. You can interact with me. You can talk with me. You can touch me. We can do whatever we want. The moment the stone is no longer in my possession is the moment you can no longer follow me. You can no longer talk to me. You have no power over me, and I am gone. Right. And so I always put it down.
That's boundaries. Good. I like that.
Boundaries.
Yeah, I set the boundary. I'm setting, and I do it for everybody that walks in. This last weekend, I did an investigation. I led it into a very haunted place. I wouldn't let anyone downstairs without a stone because they had to know what their intent was for going downstairs. Why are you doing with me? Why do you want this? And yes, are you open to it or are you not? If you're not, then just stay up here.
Right. Right. No, that's true. Yeah.
It's your intent. It's really the intent. And if we have the intent, and that's the thing for people that go down this rabbit hole with this is the only one that really can change it for them is themselves.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
No matter you get a clergy in to do a demon, blah, blah, blah thing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It ain't going to work because you don't believe it.
Right.
The moment you believe it, the moment you say you cannot do anything in my house, they don't come to your house to do it.
Right.
You have to believe it.
Right.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to move
now
on.
You can do your pictures.
Am I right? Let's just move along.
Let's move along.
All right. So AJ, I'm going to show these pictures that you sent to us from some of the places, and I want you to explain to us. I'm going to blow these up for ladies and gentlemen who are new to the show. We're also on YouTube under Graveside Paranormal, where you can see all the pictures of what we're talking about tonight, as well as this fine interview. All right, first picture up. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Hold on one second. All right, I'm going to blow this one up first, AJ. What are we looking at here?
Okay, so first, I didn't mean to send you a photo with the watermark, but that's just, I usually watermark all my photos.
Oh, that's fine.
I saved it, so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to send it to him. But okay, so if you zoom in, this was at Brumner Mansion in Wisconsin.
I can't zoom in on StreamYard.
Okay. Don't you love Brumner?
Oh, I love that place.
Tom and Julie are so great. Tom and Julie are so great, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love them.
It's a great building, beautiful, and I got shadow figures there. I've got.
You'll get your car broken into if you don't watch where you park.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And downtown Milwaukee, not too good.
Yeah, no, it's it's. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it's getting better, but yeah, no,
I
it's
would rather go to Cabrini Green than downtown Milwaukee. Just
Well, it's gotten a little better, but yeah, I know what you mean though. It's a little rough there, especially where that house is too.
All right, so what are we looking at here, AJ?
Okay, so I know it's hard to zoom in, but okay, so when I blew up the mirror, anytime I take photos, I think I mentioned to you, I've been practicing. Well, I've been doing it for years, but I've been getting really serious with my spirit photography, and so anytime I go somewhere, I'm taking hundreds, if not thousands, of photos. And if you look in the okay, so dead center in the mirror, there's what appears to be it looks like a woman, kind of like an apparition of a woman, and obviously it's like in the back of the photo. So if you ever zoomed in, it's like this big, but it looks like a woman kind of peeking over, and you could see like it's like in body form too.
So you're saying, all right, so let me ask you this. Is it over your left or right shoulder?
Okay, so in the photo, I'm obviously facing it. It's on, okay, so over my right shoulder. Or actually, I'm sorry, you're looking at it straight on. It's the left. Yeah, sorry, left side. Yeah.
Okay, I see something definitely in that background here. Let me pull it up on my phone.
And it looks just like an apparition of a woman. You could see the hair. You could see the eyes. And she definitely looks like she's kind of like this. And there was nobody there. There's no reflection. There's no.
What room were you in at the Brumner there? Was that the gold room?
No, that's not the gold room. That's the room with the jacuzzi that they say the spirit makes it go off. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I was straight on. I'm like, you know what they say about the mirrors, that it's portals and all sorts of weird things. But let me tell you, nobody was in that room. I was the only one, or I think Ghoulish Noelle was there, but she was off to the side maybe. But I just went in front of the mirror, took a picture, and that's the first thing that popped up was just what appeared to be a woman right there, kind of like that, peeking on the side.
All right, so I'm looking at the blown up one on my phone at this time. So I'll share it with Scotty. I'll send it to you. I'll just send it to you real quick.
Can you see it though? Can you see what that looks like?
So here I see. Scotty, I'm gonna send this to you right now, buddy.
On text?
Yeah, I'm gonna text it to you real quick. I gotta just save it really quick here. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, let me download this.
I'm pretty sure I double checked it, so I'm pretty sure that's the photo with the okay.
All right, I just texted it to you.
I sent it the photo without the spirit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see the nose. Yeah, what looks like to be an eye, two eyes. Yeah, I see what you're talking about now. I totally see. It almost looks like a silhouette.
It does, right? But what's funny is
look over his right shoulder.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I see it. It's like right up where the where that second block is, to the right of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I see it right there on the wall, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'm a big fan of debunking. Personally, I don't think in today's day investigators debunk as much as they should, right? Like people really don't like to debunk evidence, in my opinion. So I always try to debunk it as much as I can. And yeah, there's no way. There's too much there, in my opinion, that, like I said, there's no such thing as 100%, but I honestly think that is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
right there. You can see it.
You can kind of see that. You can see the hair too. You can see the eyes.
Look, right there, you can see it.
Yep.
So AJ, when me and Scotty were originally looking at this, I'm like, what are we looking for?
There it is. You can see it clear as day.
But now I appreciate you telling me that. So one of the things I noticed when I look at these pictures, I don't know if you're doing it because you're starting to do spirit photography, right? And understand, I'm not an expert in photography, but I learn as I go along, right? Mm-hmm. Just like yourself and everybody else.
Right.
So what I do is I put this through different kinds of things on the computer of brightness and boldness and this and that. And then I come out. I'm going to do this tonight, and I'm going to send it back to you if that's okay with you.
Yeah, do it. Of course.
I want to bring it out more for you.
So the reason why I like to send things through Mega, through files.
It is time for the Truth or Bushizzy reveal. If you guessed story number 2, the aliens and the Bigfoot, you are correct.
Now back to the paranormal guys. Ooh.
Servers is because I feel like when people are like, hey, let me send you these photos on Facebook Messenger or Gmail, they all compress the photos. I like to send videos and files photos and videos untouched, not compressed. You are getting my raw files. So and see what you could pull up, check it out.
That was a really good pick. At first I was like this, what in the holy hell are we?
And I should have sent you a second one zoomed in and screenshotted so you know what it is. But yeah, there's a woman.
It's better that you didn't. It's better that you didn't, because then it made us look at it and really find it.
It's better the way that we did it. All right, so let's go to the next photo.
Good, I'm glad.
And hit it up for us and tell us where we're at. Hold on. What you're putting in here that this is a possible cryptid?
Right. Okay. So here's the thing with this. Are you familiar with the LaBa Woods?
No.
In Chicago. Okay. So the LaBa Woods is on the north side. Now
that's why.
I grew up on the north side of Chicago. So
he's a White Sox fan.
Yeah,
I am a White Sox fan. I'm a White Sox fan too.
I'm not. You guys both suck, man. I'm a Cubs fan. Yay.
Oh man.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, we'll have a good talk with them.
Okay, you guys do that.
All right, so tell us about this.
The LaBa Woods has a long history of paranormal activity. There's actually been I think from it maybe it dates like the 50s or 60s where people were hearing like chants in the woods. It also has a long history of satanic worshiping that's taken place, and it's actually still going on today. A couple of times I've showed up there at like 3-4 in the morning. And just to see what's happening, I investigate pretty much 5-6 days a week. I just do random stuff, here and there. And I've caught people doing some really shady stuff there. I found animal parts, but there's a story. There's actually a few different stories that are going on there. There's a couple of locals that I've talked to that have lived there for 30, 40 years and this is what makes the place really interesting. There's been UFO sightings at LaBa Woods. They said they would just see stuff hovering around there. There's also this really crazy story about large praying mantis that have been seen. And there's like one story that was floating around that what they were saying was about a 5 or 6 foot tall praying mantis actually showed up to someone's house. And I thought that was crazy. I'm like, there's no... I believe in aliens. I believe in Mothman, Bigfoot. I'm a believer for the most part of a lot of those things, right? This is one of the things I'm not a believer of. Okay, so I was like a large praying mantis. Like no. So whenever I do investigations, I record. You should see my rig. It's like this big. I have 3 or 4 cameras. I got one that because I'm live on TikTok or YouTube. One that shoots it in real time in portrait and in landscape. So my rig is like this. So during the live, I was just kind of like, roaming around and I didn't see anything. But now these things started coming up in my video. And I was just like, what the heck is that? It kind of almost looked like, I want to just say like, kind of like a praying mantis, but like in, grass form, right? Like, I don't know what you want to call it, like bush, right? If you just see like an animal, kind of like if you pull that photo up, what it looks like was like 2 horns. It looked like arms. And I just was like, so if you zoom in on that, what does that look like?
You know what? All right. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you. All right.
Right.
I understand.
No.
Yeah. It looks like it's part of the leaves and stuff around there.
It does. Now, I'm going to say this. Now, do I believe it 100%? No. I think I need to see it. Remember, this is just a screenshot from the video. It was like last minute. I ended up losing that video for it, but I had the screenshot still. But here's the thing. This is the only thing that gets me about this till this day is if you're saying it's like the leaf, it looks like it's just grass or weeds that are kind of put together. If that's true, now remember, I'm always for debunking. I 100% debunk all my evidence, no matter what. Remember, I want to prove that this is fake.
Okay.
But if you just look at it, I mean, even though it's a bad photo, and obviously I still have to get other videos and photos, It looks really odd that the shape it's in. Now, I did save this, but just look at it. It looks like horns. It looks like a face. It looks
I see what like you can see what looks like two eyes. I can
right.
I know. See, but here's the thing: is once again, part of pareidolia is like the same thing as if all of a sudden I'm looking up at the sky and I see a cloud, and I'm telling my wife, "Hey, I'm seeing Mickey Mouse." She goes, "Oh, I don't see that." I go, "Look right there, the way that stuff is." And understand, I'm not knocking you.
No, for sure, 100%.
It's just that if I get you to start seeing what I'm seeing, then that's pareidolia. And I understand. I'm seeing what you're talking about right now.
Or suggestion.
Yeah. Now, again, I completely understand what it is, and I've dealt with that many times. I just, like I said, I just think it's interesting. And
sure, and
so
I agree with you.
The praying mantis story, I'm like, again, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying I'm a believer. What I'm just saying is some of the things that little screenshots and the stuff that's popped up, I'm like,
odd.
It's odd. Yeah, it's interesting because
it's odd that something like that shows up in an area where it's said to be.
Where it's said to be, right. Just and again, it's just for me. Why that really stuck to me is just kind of like the shape. Now, people said it's a praying mantis. That's clearly not a praying mantis, but has a face, and I'm not even referring to the face because the face didn't even really, it didn't intrigue me so much. What got me is it's kind of horn shaped. It looks like it was kind of like this. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I just thought it was really interesting. Not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's interesting. So if I ever catch that,
this is what has to happen. You and I don't live that far apart.
Right.
Is that you and I need to go there?
Let's go there.
Let's go there. All right, so we're going to move on to the next one, Scotty. Hold on. Moving on.
Let's go.
All right. Now, we have here, where is this place?
This is the Jane Addams Hull House.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is the side building at the Jane Addams Hull House.
The Devil Baby.
The Devil Baby. Right. Now, I don't know what you guys think about that, about the story. I don't know if you guys believe in it or not.
No, I don't believe. No.
Okay. Now, I'm going to say this. This is actually not the first. Now, before I ask you what you see, for those that don't believe in it, I just want to say, like, I've seen other people that have got photos there, really interesting photos. But here's the common factor we all have is how come there's other photos out there of babies that have popped up from the Jane Addams Hull House.
Sure.
Now, like I said, I've been going to the Jane Addams Hull House for years. I've talked to the people that work there. Many of them, like the higher ups, they will not acknowledge that the place is haunted. They will not acknowledge that that Devil Baby story took place. They all like, nope, it's not. Nothing's wrong here. But if you talk to some of the like the front counter girl and whatever. Many of them have told me recently and in the past that they've experienced what sounded like people walking around. They've heard chatter on the second floor. Now, obviously, let's just pretend that those are spirits and we're not even referring to the baby. I just said, what do you think about this place? I need to know your opinion. And many of them will say that for a fact that the place is haunted. Now, I'm going to, step aside.
I do agree that the place is haunted.
I'm going to step aside from the haunting story for a second, but let's go back to the baby. This is not the first photo I've gotten of a baby there. Now, whether you think this is a baby or not, that I'll let you know. That building that I'm taking a picture of, it is not open to the public, and there was nobody there at that time. So if and there wasn't anybody next to me holding a baby as a reflection, like up in the air or anything like that. But if you take a look at that, this is my opinion. I don't know if you guys want to let me know what you see first.
Is that in the second pane?
Yeah, I guess that would be the first or second from the left.
Yeah, you see it between the two lines?
Yeah, in between the two lines. Right.
Okay,
right.
Now don't be mad.
I won't be mad.
I said it looked like Groot.
It looked like Groot? Well, here's the thing. I will say this.
I didn't see a baby, but I did see that there's something there.
Okay, so to me, it looks like a week. Well, I mean, I do think it's a baby. It looks like a baby's head, and you
Yeah,
can
I agree. I agree that it does.
Oh, I
I
can
mean,
see
it
it.
looks.
I can see it now. Now I can see it.
Yeah,
yeah,
Now that
I
you're
mean,
talking about
I could totally say, AJ, that it does look like a baby.
Yes.
right,
Uh,
Now I
it
see
looks
it. I
like a
didn't see it
traditional
before.
Gerber baby type look.
right. But to me, it looks like it has sort of a. Again, this is my opinion, so I
Yeah.
know you guys are gonna have your own. And remember, it's not clear. I mean, the photo was taken on a phone, so the photo itself is when you look at the original photo, it's a high definition photo. But when you zoom in, it gets distorted a little bit. But to me, what I'm seeing a baby's head, and
Right.
it kind of looks like an angry face, or like what looks like a kind of like when you make that face when you're mad, you like squinting your eyes a little bit. That's what I personally see. Now, obviously, we can go into the pareidolia factor
No, no.
in regards to the face, but that to me, what I see without a doubt is a baby's head right there. But it looks like this.
Now this is what I want to talk about since we're talking about this all. I did see something there, but I never saw the baby until you said it was a baby. Then I could see it.
Yeah.
So, like, I saw something between the two panes that were much more narrow. I didn't see the head go back until after we started talking about it.
Now
So,
I know what
did I get it because you told me about it? Is that why I saw it, or is it really there and I didn't see it right before? So that's
okay.
the
So
thing about
on that topic, this is why I think some people do need to, whether they're on a tour or whether they're someone trying to learn to do paranormal investigations. I do think sometimes people need to, I don't want to say train themselves to see photos, because I feel like you just said, like I've been doing spirit photography since day one when I started ghost hunting. So it's easier for some people to see it than others. Now, that's not suggestive, but that's kind of like, well, if I'm showing you a photo, you're like, what am I looking at? Well, here's the thing. I shouldn't tell you what to look at. You should be scanning this photo religiously and telling me what you see. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Because,
And tons of people will give me their photos to help find out what's in them.
right.
I understand, but I didn't see the head until later.
Right. Because it's like this.
Like I said, I told Neil when we were before the show, I said it looks like Groot because it was like tall and skinny.
Right.
And I said, but I knew something was there. I could see it in the picture.
It's like spirit boxes too. I don't know how much experience you guys have with spirit boxes, but I've been using spirit boxes from day one. So, it's being like, think of it this way: giving someone who's never used a spirit box to tell you what they hear. They're going to be like, I hear radio, I hear static, and whatnot, where we could actually ask questions and we would hear the responses. And even though you're supposed to go back, in your footage to listen to it over and over again, if you give it to the average person, like, ma'am, could you tell me what you heard? They're not going to know what they're doing or what, know. So I do think, in regards to that, I don't want to say you have to go by the same principle, but you do have to, you kind of have to train yourself on what to look for and what to listen for. So
now AJ,
well, I'm gonna say one thing to AJ, and I'm gonna get myself old here. When I did my first investigation, we had a reel-to-reel recorder, a microphone, we had baby powder, and we had string.
Oh,
yeah.
It was 1993. There was no such thing as spirit boxes. There was no such thing as anything like we had now. We were doing EVPs off of reel-to-reel recorders. So
no kidding.
My age on here, so. But I want to do. Hey, are we going to get to his EVP? Because Neil and I both heard something different too in the EVP.
Yeah. All right. So before at the end, I'm gonna say something at the end, but I'm gonna save it for the end. So let's get to one more picture, and then let's get to the EVP. Okay. All right. So this picture here, AJ, I'll blow it up, my friend. Where are we at?
That is the same one. That's from Brumder.
Yeah. Brumder. That's the same picture we saw the thing in before.
Yeah.
What am I looking at?
That's the same one from Brumder where we zoomed in and we saw the woman with the two eyes.
Yeah, the one you did on your phone?
Yeah.
That's the same picture?
Yeah.
That's the same picture. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
That doesn't even look like any. You want to know what? Because it looks so much darker back there. I'm trying to. Maybe it could be my pixelation in this. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I said like I like to send you like the original files.
Yeah,
like,
that way
because whenever we're doing Gmail and everything, it compresses the photos and
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
But basically, I zoomed it in as much as I can, screenshot it, and I sent you that through.
Okay, so let's go to this EVP. You were out with Jack. I can see my buddy, my pal, Jack Chavez.
Oh yeah. I forgot which one I sent you, but I was like, okay, now I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, you sent me this one here. Here we go.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right, hold on here. There we go. Hold on. Why is that not coming up? All right, there we go.
Are you stuck here?
Another issue.
Something, another issue. I think it might be radio. Yeah.
And I see you left that sexy man alone.
Okay, take that picture down. Take that picture down, Neil.
Yeah, I am. So the first thing I hear out of that, do you hear it's either saying, and understand it's not a knock on anybody. We noticed it right away. Either it says "Don't ask" or "Dumbass." I'm going to play it for you again. It's right after you talked.
Are you stuck here?
Another issue.
Yeah, I don't hear that at all.
You don't hear like either "Don't ask."
We both heard "dumbass."
Yeah, no. I didn't
and understand we're not calling you.
No, I don't.
I'm not calling because I've been sworn at so many times on my devices that I always like to catch when I catch these swears.
Sure. Oh yeah, and you'd be shocked how much they swear.
Oh yeah,
they do.
Let's listen to this one more time. You're going to ask the question,
right?
And then it's going to say something before you put in your
all the words that you put on the screen. We agree with.
Yeah.
So the rest, but right at the beginning,
here.
Are you stuck here?
Another issue.
You hear that now?
No, I don't.
All right, once again.
Here you go.
So you're saying, wait, hold on. You're saying it's before what?
All right,
you're talking that you put on the screen.
Yep. Once you got done talking, it says that. Okay.
Are you stuck here?
Right there.
Yeah, no, I can't.
You don't hear. Wow.
And
we both heard it clear as day. It was the first thing we heard was "dumbass."
So then
we went back and said it could say "don't ask."
Yeah.
But
when I review these files, I mean, I play them over and over and over again in slow motion multiple times. But no, I can't hear what you guys are.
All right, just so you know, both me and Scotty are empaths.
Sure.
So we hear certain things that some people don't hear.
Right.
So I've gone into places. I'm sure Scotty's gone into places where you hear these disembodied voices, and it's like I was telling Scotty earlier. It's not a pat on my back, but I'm very, very good at hearing these things and catching them. And I've actually done it on other people's shows for them, where I all of a sudden I find these things for them. So it's interesting.
Let's hear it again. Let's keep going.
One more time. Right
at the beginning. So you
go.
Are you stuck here?
Another issue.
Yeah, no, I don't hear it. I really don't hear it.
Wow.
So
what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that clip. I'm going to keep that clip, and I'm going to re-edit it.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to change anything other than the words.
Right.
And when you're watching it at home, please let us know what you hear on there too, because we hear it clearly. So the second one, we thought it could be saying "don't ask," but the first thing we said to each other was "dumbass."
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't hear that. Yeah.
It even says apparition. It even says it here. Hold on a second. One more time.
Are you stuck here?
Another issue.
It's not saying an issue. It's not saying issue. It's saying apparition.
Yeah. Now okay. So just before where it's like we're having another issue, I know there was some other jargon there.
Right. That's what we're talking about. That's what we heard "dumbass" in there, or "don't ask."
You want to know what is interesting is that like
I'd have to say it. I'd have to. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'd have to see it or like listen to it over again. But
when me and Steve used to do this, we would sit there for hours because he couldn't hear dynamite going off in a nitroglycerin factory, and I'd have to say, "No, dude, I'm hearing this," And it would have to take time until eventually we come to an agreement. This is the amazing thing about the paranormal investigation.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
No, for sure.
we're not going to agree. It's
Right.
just the way it is, man. It's
No,
not a
no,
hit
no,
on
for sure.
anybody.
Now, I will say this. So anytime I put like captions in there, and I should have mentioned that before too. I only put captions on what I believe, and I use a few different methods to kind of figure out and make out what is actually being said. But like you guys are saying, you heard one thing, and it very well could be saying that. But if I can't, so typically I use 2 or 3 methods to kind of make out what it's exactly saying. But it also has to, I actually have to hear that word. So let's just say whether it said don't ask.
I'm glad you do that because
Yeah.
you're putting on what you thoroughly hear in that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's
too.
great. I'm
Yeah,
glad you do that.
Because if I can't make out the word, and
you're not even going to classify it. Yeah.
Right. And then it's
Right.
kind of like, for me, it's a credibility thing. So if I can't make out what it's clearly saying, I'm not putting it in there. Because like you guys said, it could say dumbass, it could say don't ask, but personally, I don't hear either of those. But let's just say it's there. If I can't make it out,
Neil's going to cut it and so you can hear it.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you.
I want to call from you, AJ.
Right.
At home, I don't care what time of night it is. You could call me after Hogan's, and we could still talk because I want you to say, "Oh shit, it did say dumbass."
But don't bother, don't bother Scotty during Benny Hill though. Don't bother.
No, gosh, no.
Yeah, no. Because again, if I can't hear it, I mean, like I said, in regards to putting it out there, because then I don't want to start. If we start cherry picking answers, that's, you're destroying evidence, whether it's credible or not. We don't cherry pick, so I only put what's heard and
right. And that's what you should.
And you're
right. But I'm going to listen to this 1,000 more times tonight. Wow.
Yeah, put on your headphones and listen to it.
I am.
All right, so AJ, I'm going to be honest.
Ready to go.
I'm going to be completely honest with you because that's what I try to be, is always honest.
Oh, of course.
I really like what you're doing, especially with the TikTok thing. Yeah. You're out there and about. You're doing what a lot of people ain't doing.
That was crazy how that happened too. I'll tell you guys.
And the other thing is that your arguments on all the pictures are solid.
Yep.
And I appreciate that you come back and you go ahead and you argue your point. That's important to stick to your guns on all that stuff. So you keep doing what you're doing, man. I really appreciate this interview.
I'll come down and we'll go to the woods together.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm up in Madison.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, not too far away. Yeah,
that's not that far. It's not that far.
Right.
Oh, Neil, don't we have to, before AJ goes, don't we have to tell him what's boo shizzle?
No, we're going to edit that in a little during midway. I'll take care of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the power of editing.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So, Scotty, AJ, True Crime, thank you very much for coming on. Do you have anything that you want to plug, AJ?
No, if you guys can, please follow me on TikTok or subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am on Facebook, but I'm more active on YouTube than TikTok.
All right. Scotty, you got anything to say to the audience? All right. And ladies and gentlemen, just like always, boo.
I get so scared.